Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webcast, where you'll hear from two of our IMAGINiT experts, Tim Johnson, who is our Senior Vice President of Sales, and Scott Hale, who is our VP of Consulting Solutions, where they'll provide you with an overview of IMAGINiT services. And now with that, Tim, I'll pass things over to you.
Thank you, and I want to welcome everybody from PacifiCAD to the IMAGINiT team. This is kind of our formal introduction for the people to give you an idea of the breadth and scope of our company, as well as provide some transitional information for you to make sure that you know where to go to get answers to your questions. The first thing, if you look at this slide, I think there's about 4 or 5 logos on here, and that's enough to confuse anyone. But I am with IMAGINiT Technologies, and if you saw just a few days back, we did acquire PacifiCAD, so there's a combination logo of PacifiCAD and IMAGINiT, better together. If you can read the fine print, depending on the size of the display you have, you'll know that IMAGINiT is a division of RAND Worldwide, and that's the RAND logo you see at the bottom. And we are an Autodesk Platinum partner and the largest partner in North America. So that's all of the logos. But again, welcome to all the PacifiCAD clients to the IMAGINiT team. If you can't pick up, I am from Texas and I live in Dallas, and so I carry a little bit of that accent that you may not be used to in places like Spokane. So our agenda today was one, we'll talk a little bit about the PacifiCAD acquisition, an overview of our company. We've got some promotional just to help welcome you into the IMAGINiT team. And at that point, I'm going to turn it over to Scott Hale, who is our Vice President of Consulting Services, and he's going to talk about a little bit of our services capabilities, and we'll talk about the client portal and complementary software utilities available to our clients. And then we'll go into a Q&A at the end of this. So I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but it was put out there was the press release that IMAGINiT acquired PacifiCAD back on March 15th, so not that long ago. And what's interesting that there was an article that came out in the local Spokane newspaper from Rod Reed, the owner of PacifiCAD, and one of the things that he said in the newspaper article that came out earlier this week was that, you know, he had a goal of, being able to provide more robust services. And so when he was ready to sell the company, it was a high priority for Ron and Debbie Reed to find someone that they felt like could not just take over their business, but expand their business with a more robust service offering, and we'll talk about that. And as well, he wanted to make sure that whoever acquired the company was committed and wanted to have a continuing local presence. So, you know, for people that are in Spokane, for example, we'll still be office in the steam plant building, and we will continue the local presence that we have at that. On the next slide, we'll talk about, some of our capabilities. And when I talked about, Ron Reed's desire to have more robust services, we have almost 100 application engineers located across our locations in North America. And what that gives PacifiCAD customers an access to is a subject matter expert on almost any and every product that Autodesk provides. So we bring a large staff that has a diverse skill set in all the Autodesk offerings that they offer. So that's part of that robust service that I think that Ron alluded to that we're able to offer. And one of the things that I always caution people about when they look and they say, gosh, you've 45,000 customers and you got locations all across the U.S. and Canada, and you cover all the verticals and all of that thing, that sometimes it gives people this impression that we're this nationwide company and we deal with extremely large customers. And I would say that's inaccurate, in that our customer base are mostly, the vast majority are smaller firms in locations like Spokane and Boise. And not only markets like that, but we're in places like Omaha and Des Moines. So we service a wide range of customers, but the vast majority are smaller firms. And the other thing I'd say is, as you look at the client base that we have, many of them don't fit neatly into just one vertical. And so because we cover all the verticals and have experts in each one of those, we're really able to help, I think, multidisciplinary firms with the issues and not just related to one vertical. The next slide shows our locations for those that are really interested in it, to tell you where we're at. And we cover most of the markets in North America, and you'll see the two blue stick pins that represent Spokane and Boise, which are our locations that we've acquired from PacifiCAD during this acquisition. On the next slide is a little bit of just a summary, and I mentioned it before, but we're the largest Autodesk reseller. We've got training locations in nearly all of our locations that you saw on the map on the previous slide. Many of you, even though you may not know it, you've been introduced to a company before, because the most prevalent courseware, Autodesk courseware, is from a company called Ascent, which happens to be a worldwide company or a sister company of ours. So nearly every Autodesk reseller in North America uses the Ascent training material. So you may have been an expert, and our own application engineers help develop the content that you see in the Ascent courseware. On the right-hand side, if you look at that, the Take Aim implementation methodology comes from 20-plus years of experience of us helping people implement their software. So not only do we provide expertise in helping you select the proper software, but we've got years and years of experience in every industry of helping people implement that technology. We all know that support after the sale is important, and we have a comprehensive support offering that we call Productivity Now. And Scott's going to go into great detail about that, but support systems to make sure that you're getting full utilization of the software that you've invested in over the life of that software. And then last and most importantly is part of being an Autodesk Platinum Partner is having very high customer satisfaction ratings done by an independent firm. And we have some of the highest ratings from our customers across all verticals and all geographies, and that's part of the reason and part of the requirement to be a Platinum. So customer focus is always at the forefront of our mind. The next slide kind of is a slide that kind of depicts of what we try to do, that it says we will help you select the proper software to help you tackle the issues. We've got training and support to make sure that you can fully utilize that software. Professional services that go beyond that, and again, Scott's going to give them more detail, and then all the way up at the top of the pyramid that people said, hey, I need a consultant who's walked through the same problems that can help me with workflows and to understand that it makes me competitive in my market, that helps me deliver a high quality of work to my clients, our clients, and do so in a timely fashion. And then what we're offering to all the PacifiCAD customers. So I know many of you probably have a support offering from PacifiCAD, and that will continue as is. We've already moved all of that information over into our system. We're aware, so you'll have as good or greater, hopefully, service than what you've already got. But in addition to that, we're going to offer 2 hours of flex time support. That's telephone support to our national call center, and we're going to allow 2 authorized callers to come for that. And you've got 6 months to use the 2 hours that you see there. In addition to that, we're going to give you access to our custom Productivity Now client portal, and that'll be for 3 years, and again over a 6-month period of time. And to access both of those, you need to send an email, the names of the people that you want as the authorized callers and the authorized users, to that PCAD customer advocacy @rand.com email. So if you'll email those, we'll get those set up in the system, and Scott will talk about how we do onboarding, where we've got training sessions just to use the portal, for example, to go all of that. But I'd say as an action item when you walk away from here that I would certainly encourage you to get those in and start to use that, and I think you'll find a high degree of service that we can help you with some of the issues you may be faced with on a day-to-day basis. I know somebody else mentioned is going to come up later. We also have an 800 number that you'll be able to access, not only just for those issues that we brought up, but either the 800 number or the email address, and we'll show it again at the end of the presentation, that if you have any question just outside of support that, during this transition time that comes up, that we want you to have it, and we will get it routed to the right person and get you an answer very quickly. So with that, to give you a little bit more details around what we talked about, I'm going to pass it over to Scott Hell, who's our Vice President of Consulting Services.
Thanks, Tim. Well, welcome, everybody. As Tim said, I get the privilege of kind of diving into some of the things that he's already spoken about, telling you a little bit more about some of the training and support, professional services that we provide, and also some of the online and self-help tools that you have access to as an IMAGINiT customer. So let's get rolling on that. So let's start just basically with training. You will find that IMAGINiT offers a wide variety of self-paced training options as well as instructor-led training options. And I'll talk just a little bit about that first. I'm going to jump over those first two bullets because I'm going to spend a good deal of time on those in just a minute. But those are the self-help tools, but we do a lot of different types of instructor-led training. People learn in different ways. Some like to get out of the office. They want to come to our training center. Some need to do it online. But we have a regular schedule of in-person, in-office training sessions every month across all the different training centers that Tim mentioned and cover most all of the Autodesk product lines, the major Autodesk product lines for the AEC space, as well as the manufacturing space. In addition to that, we have a full schedule of online classes. So if you can't get out of the office and come see us, we'll have a regular schedule posted on the website where you can sign up, log in from your computer in your office, and log into one of our classes. Still have a live instructor who's going to lead you through the curriculum. Still have the same Ascent courseware, but from the comfort of your facility versus ours. As I mentioned, we have a lot of online e-learning materials. These materials still use the same type of Ascent courseware to help you learn on a self-paced mode, as well as videos. So not just verbal and written, or I'm sorry, not just written materials, but verbal and visual materials that you can leverage through that e-learning experience. We also offer a blending of the two. If you're not one type of learner or the other, we can combine the self-paced e-learning concept with live online instructor-led training in our blended courses. And again, the schedules for all these are listed on our website. You can just go to IMAGINiT.com, look for our training, and you'll be able to see what classes are available in office, what classes are available online, which ones are blended, etc. So we'll do those on an open enrollment fashion, but we'll also do dedicated classes just for your specific customer needs. If we want to work on your project data, we can even create a complete custom class that's a combination of multiple classes blended together, etc. So a lot of different training options there for you. All right, so let's look at another one of those parts of the pyramid that Tim spoke of, and that's our process improvement services. So we certainly do a lot of training every month, but a good portion of the time we actually spend helping people change and improve the workflows and processes that they use on a daily basis. And that happens through a variety of services, a number of different consulting services. I've listed just a few here, but starting from the initial planning and architecture of your workflows to the implementation, whether it's an Autodesk product or even an Archibus product from the facilities management standpoint, we have complete implementation services, system integration services. If you're trying to tie the data that you use inside of one of the Autodesk platform tools, we can tie those into an ERP system, a CRM system, or other business systems that you want to communicate and share data with. We have a specific group on my team that does nothing but software development. So we keep them chained to their desk, writing automation tools for the various Autodesk products like Civil 3D and Revit and even base AutoCAD. And sometimes it's programming needs that don't even attach to an Autodesk product. So a complete development staff that you have access to. And then we also have dedicated teams that focus on data management, controlling, manipulating, securing data, sharing it across multiple offices, multiple countries perhaps, facilities management team that's devoted in that regard as well as we'll do contract simulation projects for customers. You don't want to buy all the simulation tools to be able to do them yourself in-house. You can contract people on my team to help you work through those different simulation tests. All right, so now you know a little bit about the different training and consulting service options. Let's talk about a couple of things that you're going to get as part of your joining the IMAGINiT family and becoming an IMAGINiT customer. So let's start with the Productivity Now portal. The Productivity Now portal is an online resource that customers have access to, and there's a lot of things up there. Things like white papers. We write dozens of white papers over the course of a month, posting those to the portal so that all of our customers can use those to help enhance their skill sets, keep you abreast of changes in the industry, that kind of thing. All the webcasts that we do, we record and we save up there so that you can watch them at a later date. Written tech tips, visual, video tech tips, all kinds of tools to help you get to the bottom of specific problems you're having in different areas of the software use. You can search for these, find keywords, etc. on the portal to help you zero in on where they are very quickly. You can monitor tech support cases and submit tech support cases to our team to help resolve issues with our live support team. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Our IMAGINiT utilities, I'm going to tell you a whole bunch about those here shortly, but basically those are pieces of software that we develop and sell to the marketplace, but provide to our customers via the Productivity Now portal. E-learning materials, I've already spoken about the fact that we have self-paced e-learning, leveraging our Ascent training materials. All of those are accessible through the Productivity Now portal, and you're going to get access to those, as Tim discussed, for this next 6 months, so you can be leveraging those courses, getting a great understanding of what we can do. And the last thing you can do is your contract administrator can use the Productivity Now portal to review your subscriptions, to keep a handle on where they're at, what the renewal dates are, etc., which products you have. All that stuff can be accessed through our Productivity Now portal. All right. So you're saying to yourself, how do I get access to this amazing tool? Well, right from our website, if you go to IMAGINiT.com and you look up in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see the Productivity Now button. If you don't like to click through the website, you can certainly just type in portal.imaginit.com as well. But when you click on that Productivity Now button, that'll launch you into the login screen. It'll pop up here. Go ahead and jump to the next one. There we go. And you're going to get to the login screen. If you're already a customer, you've already been using Productivity Now, you'll be able to type in your username and your password and get right into the system. If you're a new user, the contact administrator for your organization can create a new account right here. Click on this button and he'll be able to set up an account. It'll walk him through a screen. Kind of like Tim said, you can also send an email right to our advocacy group and get this done. But once the contract manager has set up the account, the contract manager can add two additional users to the Productivity Now portal as well for the duration of the 6-month offer. All right, so once you get in there, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. And I'm not going to go through everything, but just wanted you to kind of get a feel for how it looks and feels. You're going to see white papers. You see those listed on the lower left. You've got all the different recorded videos. Those are in the lower center. You can see different types of news, updates, and across the top there's a variety of different tool sets that you can access. Some of the important ones, as I mentioned, are go right to our support network, log a support case. You can go right to our IMAGINiT Utilities pull down, download IMAGINiT Utilities that are useful for you, and get to our e-learning very quickly and start to search through the different courses that we have available for you. All right. And if you want to get some education on how to take full advantage of our portal, of the Productivity Now portal, every couple of weeks we'll hold an orientation session, a WebEx kind of like this, where we'll have an instructor get on and walk you through all the different areas of the portal, what's in there, how to best take advantage of it to make sure you know everything that's at your fingertips. If you want to sign up for one of those, you can go to IMAGINiT.com and go to our events page, and you'll see them listed there as part of, with the all events filter on. So check that out if you'd like some more education, but I think once you get in there, get your login set up, it's pretty easy to get around. All right, now, before I move on, I would be remiss to not touch a little bit on the great team that we have available to you from a live telephone support standpoint. The Productivity Now portal is for that self-help support you're looking for, but when that just doesn't cut it and you want to talk to somebody live and get to the bottom of a problem, you have access to our team of 10 engineers that we keep chained to their desks, basically waiting for calls to come in across all the different products and disciplines that Autodesk offers. They're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we've got a complete telephone system there that makes sure we keep track of all the calls, get them routed to the right technical expert right away, and that we follow through and get those problems resolved and confirmed and make sure we're communicating appropriately back with you. In the case that you have a very specialized or advanced problem, certainly all of those engineers have access to our other 90 or so engineers that are working out in the field as consultants. So you've got a very large team available waiting to help. Okay? We provide support in a number of different ways. Certainly live through the telephone using the tech support number you see right there at the bottom of the screen. You can send us an email and we'll reply via email. We can set up a live chat session with you. We can even do a remote desktop and remote into your computer, take control of it so we can actually walk through the problem live on the screen with you. So a lot of different ways to get support depending on the types of problems you're having. So we encourage you to take advantage of that since we've provided the 2 hours of free flex time here over the course of the next 6 months, in addition to whatever support program you already had in place as a PacifiCAD customer. Okay, so the last thing I want to do before I turn it back over to Tim is talk to you about these IMAGINiT utilities that I've already spoke of. As I mentioned, we have a complete development team that works on all kinds of projects to meet customer needs. And over the years, in addition to those special one-off projects, we've started to develop package software products that we make available to the market. And we sell those products to users all over the world, but make these utility products available free to our IMAGINiT customers. So let's take a look at them, and I'll give you a brief look at what I'm speaking of. And I'm going to start with the IMAGINiT utilities for Civil 3D. And for every one of these sets of utilities, basically you go to the Productivity Now portal, you download the utility set that you want, you install it, and basically what it does is it's adding another menu set of tools right within the environment you're working on. So for Civil 3D, you're going to get a menu that looks like the one you see there at the top of the screen, and it's going to guide you through using each of the tools that are available. All right. So I won't go through all the different tools in these packages, but just a couple that I think are pretty cool in here. The ability to import Google data directly into your Civil 3D model and attach that and leverage that within your design. That's pretty handy and slick. If you're creating pipe systems, the ability to modify those piping systems very quickly. There's tools in there that automate that process. Even swapping out components when you're developing these systems on the fly with different parts and components, all those things are capable, as well as a number of other tools. So great functionality to try to streamline tasks that are generally very mundane and require multiple keystrokes or just time that's not value add originally. All right, so let's look at the next one. Let's look at IMAGINiT Utilities for Revit. Again, you're going to get a whole new menu of options, a large number of tools that are specifically driven to reduce tasks inside of Revit. Some of my favorites here, I'm a big fan of system integration, so I love the ability to be able to link my Revit data directly to Excel, dump it out, manipulate it, send it back to Revit, and still maintain the linkages there so I don't lose it. Great tools to help that process. If you want to batch, renumber rooms as part of your Revit model, those types of things are in there very quickly. Something that used to take a lot of time, not difficult, just a lot of time. We're going to make it very fast. Even updating door marks, etc. All the way down to just setting up views. If you want to configure how the Revit views look, the different levels, phases, etc., things like that you want to look the way you want to look, and you can see what you want to see, you can set those up in a formatting tool. All right, so the last one that I want to speak to is the IMAGINiT Utilities for Vault, the Vault client. And probably to tell you about those utilities, I have to tell you what the Vault is if you're not already familiar with it. The Autodesk Vault is a data management solution. It creates a central repository so that you can store all of your data in one location, and you can securely control who has access to it, who's revising it, and you can monitor that whole revision system along the way and help control the collaboration process and speed up performance and efficiency when you're searching for things, okay? So what these utilities do is, again, just like the ones for Civil 3D and Revit, these are utilities that are built to speed up tasks within the Vault. If I want to extract bill of materials information right out of the Vault and send that out to Excel or a CSV file that I can leverage in another manner, very quick right out of the Vault. I can create PDFs, PDF generation tools in batch, very cool tool there. Even event notifications. If I want to know when somebody changes a life cycle state or does something like that within the Vault, I can set up notifications so that different project managers or principals are made aware of changes and updates as they occur by flagging them with email notifications. So just a lot of tools to make life a little bit easier as you're working within all these products. Again, these are all free and available to you being an IMAGINiT customer. And if you want to get them downloaded, again, you're headed back to the Productivity Now portal and go into that utility pull down that I talked about. So portal.imaginit.com, and you can get those downloaded and start taking advantage of those quickly. All right, I think with that, if we go to the next slide, I think it's going to be back to you, Tim, to wrap things up.
You bet. Thanks, Scott. So in summary, if you talked about you now, as a PacifiCAD customer joining a IMAGINiT team, you've got access to the largest Autodesk reseller who's totally invested in the industry. If you want to know where we're at, making these acquisitions is a signal of us that we're all in the Autodesk world. We've added the value, the flex time support. That's the telephone support for customers that you've got access to right away. First thing you need to do is sign up for it. In addition to that, you've got the Productivity Now support, which is video and e-learning content you've got there, the value add for utilities. And again, you saw Scott do that. And then the last thing I'd say to sign up and for any other questions that you may have, if you have to, first of all the telephones at the PacifiCAD former PacifiCAD work. You can, if you used to dial in a local office, you can continue to do that. But if you feel like you've got a question, you've got an issue that needs to get resolved, you can certainly use the PCAD customer advocacy at rand.com email address as well to get to that. So we're going to open it up for questions. We have a little bit, since we did one of these earlier this week. We've got a little bit of a head start that the first and most predominant question that we got revolved around the support contract and maintenance renewals. And so the question is, what happens in my existing support contract with PacifiCAD? It is still valid. We've moved all of those contracts over into our system, and we have them. So I would say we're continuing as is, that you lose nothing during this transition, that your support contract will be as good, if not better, than what you had before. And then the last one, around the whole idea around maintenance. If you've mailed your PacifiCAD, that's fine. We've got it handled on the back end. And just in general about your maintenance, that data resides, one, with Autodesk. And Autodesk has already made the change. I think it was within a couple of days of the acquisition that we were now listed as the reseller of record. So we have, through the Autodesk systems, access to your Autodesk assets, as well as we took the CRM data from PacifiCAD and we've integrated it into our system as well. So we've got that information in 2 locations about maintenance renewals that you've got. So I think the process from here, if I'm not mistaken, if you've got anything, they want you to type it in the chat box. If so, any questions, any other questions you got, if you'll type them in. While you're doing that, again, you saw the email address for technical support for people that wanted that phone number. You see it there, 888-528-4765. And our website is IMAGINiT.com, as well as the PacifiCAD website is still up and running. So you can use the new, you can use the old. So any questions?
I'm having some questions coming in. First question I have so far is, I contacted PacifiCAD for custom process, including AutoCAD scripts and Revit export templates. Will IMAGINiT Tech be able to answer my questions, or let me try that again. Will you be able to answer my questions or issues I have in the future?
Yeah, I'll try to take that one. This is Scott, and the answer is yes. I think if you have those types of questions, please continue to submit those through the support. We're working together. We still have a number of the folks from the PacifiCAD technical team are on our team, so we'll have some continuity there. So if they're aware of maybe what they've worked with you in the past, that'll get forwarded on to a new resource if there's somebody else going to be helping you solve that problem. But certainly we can still help with those kinds of questions.
Perfect. Next question I have is, does our Bluebeam license that we got through PacifiCAD also get picked up by IMAGINiT?
Yes. As part of the acquisition, we had to become an authorized reseller for Bluebeam, and we were granted that authorization from Bluebeam, and I may be off a little bit, but probably about 2 weeks ago. So if you are a Bluebeam user through PacifiCAD, you'll continue on just as you had. So good question.
Perfect. The next question I have is, how can I get support on Pacific time?
I'm not exactly sure what they're asking there, but from a Pacific time standpoint, I mean, our National Support Center is available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, which basically translates to 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific. My time zone translation worked. And if it's outside of those hours, and you still submit it via email, it'll be responded to by the next available person if they're still available outside of those hours or the following business day.
Perfect. The next question I have is, can I still contact Spokane PacifiCAD Tech team, or should I contact IMAGINiT?
Yeah, I think I'll try to see if I can answer that one. We're not looking to disrupt any close relationships that the PacifiCAD customers had with specific AE on their team. So you're welcome to still reach out to them. I know they're all very interested in making sure their customers stay successful. And if they're available, at that moment in time, great. But If you want to make sure that you get into the queue and get to talk to somebody as quickly as possible, please, by all means, use our 800 number and get into our National Support Center and leverage one of the many resources waiting there as well.
Perfect. The next question I have is, will IMAGINiT contact me when it's time to renew my subscription?
Absolutely. As I said, we have all the data for the subscription, and we typically start that process approximately 90 days in advance of the expiry date. And we could have a whole meeting on this topic, and we will have them, but just as a reminder, if you haven't heard or to alert you of the fact that Autodesk announced a few weeks ago what they're calling their maintenance to subscription plan. So one of the reasons why we want to get out ahead 90 days is to make sure that all the customers understand what your options are going forward, because they are changing. So it's going to be probably in many cases require conversations so you understand what your options are and you make a good long-term decision, and we're ready to help you with that. But the simple answer is yes, we will be contacting you for your renewals.
Hey, Leah, this is Scott. Before we go on to the next one, I just realized I misspoke on the hours of the National Support Center. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. Pacific time, it would be 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. I don't know where I got 2 p.m., but 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry about that.
Thank you for clarifying. The next question I have is, I have an existing login for productivity now. How do I get my account recognized as a customer so I can download the utilities?
So yeah, there's a couple ways. One, I mean, you can, if you reach out to the PacifiCAD customer advocacy email, they can make sure we get whatever we have that has to get cleared up in that regard. If if you've run into problems, I'd say that would be the first place to start. Just send an email to PacifiCAD customer advocacy, and they'll make sure that your logins are set up correctly.
Next question is just around being able to contact us through specific offices. So yes, you can contact us continually through the offices that you've been working with, or you can contact the phone number here or any of the phone numbers on IMAGINiT. You'll be able to get a hold of us as well. So whatever works best for you.
Nothing has been shut off. Everything works.
I'm not seeing any additional questions coming in at this time. Just giving it a couple seconds. So nothing else is coming in. Again, always you can reach out to us if you have any additional questions after the webcast. We're happy to help you. Otherwise, thank you so much for presenting to us today, Scott and Tim. And thank you for everybody for joining us today. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to us. We're here to help. And otherwise, have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
The chairperson has disconnected. The conference will now end.